Let's just start talking about what we saw yesterday during Thursday Night Football. The first Thursday Night Football that's on kind of prime time. It's not on NFL Network. They are on Fox now. And whenever they go back to Fox, folks, I mean, sheesh, great games. And I know all the games this season in prime time, in the prime time slots have always been great. But this one was real solid. Great action, great two big teams, two of the biggest teams in the league right now. Maybe not so much Seattle. Their offense is a little lackluster, but the NFC West, folks, we all know that's a freaking stacked division. So, Seahawks get the win 26-17, and yeah, it was kind of a slow start into this game. I mean, going into halftime, it was 7-3. Nobody could really move the ball consistently, and that's what we have to start with first, because Matthew Stafford, folks, oh my goodness, making us truly concerned, and we had to kind of come up with a nickname for this performance, because what we saw last week against the Cardinals, and what we saw the first half of this game, that's not Matthew Stafford, folks. This is not what Matthew Stafford does. He doesn't not get it done in the red zone. He doesn't not have a big arm, and he's definitely not accurate. But what we saw in the first half, it was not great, folks. That was Statthew Mafford, folks. That was not Matthew Stafford that showed up in the first half. So let's just watch some of these plays in the first half that were crucial here and not Matthew Stafford. I don't even know what the heck this was. So let's start here on the very first drive, folks. Third and 6. Very first drive. Set the tone. You're on the road. You're on the road. Short week on Thursday. You're on the road. You got to pick up these early first downs. Set the tempo. Take all the energy out of this kind of home stadium. And how about that in Seattle? The kind of 12s we all, during the Legion of Boom days, this Seattle home crowd was, one of the most hostile one of the most hostile home crowds there was. But now even going back to last season, the home field in Seattle, it's not what it was. So truly unfortunate there. But coming into this game, you want to take the home crowd out of it, and Matthew Stafford just wasn't doing that early on. But here we go, 3rd and 6. He's gonna try, and is this Cooper Kupp he's trying to hit? And, how are you not hitting Cooper Kupp? We've read quotes of Matthew Stafford in the offseason through week 1, 2, and 3. And those first 3 games by the Rams offense, I mean, they were spectacular. That's why we had them number 1 in our power rankings the first couple of weeks until last week when they lost to Arizona. We had to switch that. But, we know this Rams offense is great. And over these last 2 games, game and a half, I should say, because Matthew Stafford did kind of get it cleaned up in the second half after he got injured. How crazy is that? The man got injured at the end of the first half, went into halftime, and then just started to sling the ball around in the second half accurately, precisely, getting it done, putting up touchdowns, not settling for field goals, but he couldn't do that with healthy fingers. So I don't understand what was the turnaround here for the Rams offense. But in the first half, it wasn't good. So here we go, 3rd and 6 here. Empty backfield here by Matthew Stafford. Drops back to pass. He's going to launch it. And there it is. Cooper Kupp wide open on a hitch route out towards the left sideline. It would have picked up the first down. It would have moved them past midfield right here. But look at the overthrow. And once again, the Cooper Kupp Matthew Stafford connection. It's there. I think Cooper Kupp is actually leading. Did I see that right during the broadcast? Cooper Kupp is leading the league in touchdown receptions. He's got like 5 touchdowns already this season. So this is a great hookup, a great connection, but for some reason has floundered these last 2 games, game and a half. And there it is, just wide open. I mean, you got 2 yards of separation here between the 2 yards of separation on the corner, and then you got about 4 yards of separation by the other help defender coming over the top. So it's just Matthew Stafford missing Cooper Kupp right there. That's Statthew Mafford right here, folks. This pass is by Statthew Mafford because this is kind of a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde scenario that we got, because when Matthew Stafford is on, sheesh, folks, accurate, big arm, can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But when, this last game and a half here, when he's days off, folks, he's abysmal. He's looking like Mitch Trubisky in the red zone, folks, and that's nothing good because Mitch Trubisky's a backup in Buffalo now. I mean, you're not going to win turning the ball over in the red zone and not putting up the points. So the first half was all Statthew Mafford, and then Matthew Stafford kind of came to his senses after he not even broke his finger. It came out. He said after the game, he had to pop his finger back in. He threw it back into place. So, geez. But that was only one play right there. Not good. But there was more Statthew Mafford here in the first half. Here we go. All right, here we go. Another 3rd and 9. Is this their second drive? I believe this is their second drive of the game. 3rd and 9, still a 0-0 game, so hey, you're still in it. You can still try and take the crowd out of it and still get the, put up the first points of the game. But here we go. Matthew Stafford, Statthew Mafford right here on 3rd and 9. And once again, just trying to hit Van Jefferson this time and just off the mark again right here, folks. Once again, right at the boundary. He would have picked up this first down, but it's high as heck. I mean, even if you're like 7 foot tall, you're not even catching this ball. It sails right over his head, and Van Jefferson was able to get a nice kind of half a yard of separation. And we know Matthew Stafford can put that ball right on the money to pick up the first down. We know this man's got the arm and talent to do so, folks. So that's twice on 3rd downs, not getting it done. And then we get this in the red zone. Oh my goodness. Now we knew the Rams offense was struggling in the red zone against the Cardinals, and we were concerned in this game, but we hoped we shouldn't be concerned exiting this game, but we were concerned heading into halftime. So here we go. Statthew Mafford in the red zone, folks. Are y'all ready for this? Because I don't even know what the heck this was. This is out of the realm of quarterback play. Remember, lackadaisical throws. Matthew Stafford may seem like, hey, this is open. I don't have to kind of put 100% mustard on this ball just to get it there in time and on accuracy because it's open, and maybe he gets a little lackluster, a little lackadaisical on some of the throws, and we saw that last week with Cooper Kupp, always wide open. He misses them. We were seeing it early in this game, and now we get kind of the start of the second quarter at the Seahawks 8-yard line in the red zone, 2nd and goal, and what does this man do? Statthew Mafford, here we go, empty backfield, 5 wide. What does he do with this ball? All right, here he goes. Drop back to pass. Nobody open. Scrambling out of the pocket. Rolling out to the right and ends up throwing the ball away. But he throws the ball away still in bounds? I mean, just an easy interception for Quandre Diggs right here. And how about this celebration? Ooh, the flock of the birds here by the Seahawks. Man, oh man, defensive celebrations, folks, are probably one of the best things about football, where they all run down to the end zone. This time they're already in the end zone, and everybody's just flapping their wings over here in Seattle. You got to love it. So here it is, Statthew Mafford, an absolutely lackadaisical garbage throw in the end zone, in the red zone, folks. Look at this. How are you throwing the ball away inbounds? There's nobody even near here, folks. 10 yards. There's no Rams player within 10 yards of this ball, so he's just trying to throw it away, but he lackadaisically throws the ball and keeps it in bounds, and that's an easy pick, and that's a great heads-up play by Quandre Diggs. And what did the Seahawks do with this? Were they able to, no, they had an interception of their own on Russell Wilson on the following drive. Nothing on really Russell Wilson, just kind of ball gets popped up in the air. Great coverage by Jalen Ramsey to kind of be press covered on the receiver and tip the ball up in the air for the other Rams player to pick it off. So luckily for Matthew Stafford, they don't cash in on that interception. And then after the Seahawks interception, they go 3 and out, just not able to once again move the ball in the first half, and at the end of the first half, they only put up 3 points. So Statthew Mafford in the first half, and then Matthew Stafford in the second half, because when we see what they did in the second half, first drive in the second half, touchdown, second drive in the second half, touchdown. So it took the injury to get Matthew Stafford back out on the field and take out Statthew Mafford. He's hiding that inner personality mentality, that inner garbage quarterback inside. Got to shove that man down as deep as you can, because we've seen Statthew Mafford have kind of a game and a half to himself, and that's enough Statthew Mafford for the entire season, folks. We don't need to see that man again. We want to see Matthew Stafford from here on out, and hopefully they can just rein it in. But it's still a little cause for concern here. We are going to have to kind of track how often Statthew Mafford actually comes out and is visible out on the field. But, you know, these last 2 weeks against the Cardinals and the Seahawks, you split it 1-1. It's not bad optically, you know, in the kind of record column, in the box score, all of that. But we do know that, you know, this is inside Matthew Stafford, this not getting it done in the red zone, being lackadaisical on some throws, not cashing in, missing Cooper Kupp, all of that. So hopefully that gets cleaned up. And why it's still a little concerning is because that wasn't, like, the first 3 weeks were kind of flawless by Matthew Stafford in this entire Rams defense, or in this entire Rams offense. So, you know, just kind of logical thinking, yeah, it's going to be a little lackluster, the offense, you know, in the first couple of games, because Matthew Stafford, first time here in LA with this Rams team, you know, get the connection down, get the timing, get the rhythm down. So maybe game 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, we could give it, all right, a little slow out of the gate, but then 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, for the rest of the season, they're right there. But it's kind of the opposite. Games 1, 2, 3, really gosh dang good. Game 4, not the best. Game 5, a little iffy. So hopefully we don't get this kind of downward trend and we can start heading up for this Rams team, because we still believe that this is one of the best teams in the league. I think on Tuesday this Rams team will still be number 2, but we still have a whole entire Sunday of football to really kind of figure out the landscape of the NFL. So we're not going to make any big assessments right now. I guess I can't even think of a word, so we'll go with assessment. So we're not going to do that right now, but you know, they got the win, so on the road, still a solid win overall. All right, let's talk about what Matthew Stafford did first half, second half. Let's break down his stats. So he goes 25 of 37 for 365 yards. I mean, he was slinging it around, folks. I mean, we know this is what the Rams offense is. You got Cooper Kupp, who's great. You got Von Jefferson, who's great, but he's the third, kind of, maybe even the 4, because you got Robert Woods as the number 2, and that's what they did in this game. They went to Robert Woods a lot here, and that's great. We know Matthew Stafford loves Cooper Kupp, and that's fine for him to kind of be the number 1 wide receiver on this team, but Robert Woods is still a really solid number 2 and could potentially be like a number 1 on a team. So stacked offense here in speed and just great route running. Cooper Kupp, just maybe one of the best route runners there are in the league, folks. Always able to get open and find that open space. We saw it last week against the Cardinals, folks. Just absolutely fantastic. And once again, right here, always getting that separation, but Matthew Stafford not putting it on him in the first half. But let's get Matthew Stafford's total completion percentage here. So 25 of 37. We got 67% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic. 365 yards. Absolutely fantastic. 1 passing touchdown. A little lackluster for what this Rams team is. So we got to definitely get those numbers up. And then the 1 interception. I mean, truly inexcusable. I truly don't even know what that was. I think Matthew Stafford gets kind of confused sometimes that he's actually on a good team with a good coaching system and a good offensive weapons and a great head coach, because he's been with the Lions, where he only had Megatron for a few seasons, which was great. You know, we all, you know, Megatron first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, but that's all they really had. They never had the coach. So I think Matthew Stafford, he just doesn't know how to kind of play great for multiple games at a time, because he physically could not do that in Detroit. The coaching style, the coaching staff, the ownership, the weapons, the line in Detroit wouldn't allow him to be good for multiple games in a row, because overall the Lions have been trash. So now this Rams team being good, Matthew Stafford's like, damn, I got to be great on every throw? Ugh. There's no excuses anymore? Ooh, okay. So I think Matthew Stafford's still trying to kind of be great every single game right here. And, you know, he's got to be great in every throw, because this Rams team, now there's expectations on Matthew Stafford to perform well every single game and every single snap, because the Rams really should be favorites in mostly every single game they play. I really don't know if there is going to be a game where the Rams are just kind of considered underdogs underdogs. I mean, there's really talent-wise, on paper-wise, they match up as well as any other team. Defending Super Bowl champions Bucks, even the Cardinals, unfortunately, we saw how that played out. But I mean, going into that game, they're not underdogs. Hindsight, obviously 2020, but heading into any game, this team is not going to be underdogs, and Matthew Stafford needs to kind of understand, all right, I'm the cream of the crop quarterback, and I'm on a cream of the crop team. So every throw's got to be on the money here, Matthew Stafford. No taking plays off. But other than that, great completion percentage, great yards, always moving the ball, and doing it on the road. Fantastic. Just took a little bit to get started, but once again, it's a Thursday night game, little wonky. So what do they got up next here? Because that's going to be the true test where we can really see if there's true cause for concern here for this Rams team. So next week, this Rams team, what do they got? Rams go to the Giants, so definitely you should be 100%. You should do what the Chiefs did last week, score a touchdown on every single drive. That's what we should be seeing next week for the Rams. So Thursday night game, little wonky, a little bit of a free pass here, a little bit, nothing big, little free pass for Statthew Mafford. So the passing game overall in totality, it was solid. All right, and then in the rushing game, man, Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, who this man said, 17 carries for 82 yards, 1 touchdown as well. Sony Michel, 11 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown as well. Running back by committee that they definitely needed because Sean McVay didn't know, are we going to get Statthew Mafford or Matthew Stafford on these plays? So, and that's exactly what they did in kind of in the red zone here. They end up just kind of running it. Here we go. We get a 2nd and 4 at the Seattle's 15. They run the ball. They get a 3rd and 1 at Seattle's 12. They run the ball because Sean McVay was not trusting Matthew Stafford's arm. And at this point, this is kind of when the Matthew Stafford injury came. I think it was kind of on this pass right here with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the second quarter. That's kind of when Matthew Stafford got a little banged up, and then we said, coming out of halftime, he throws back-to-back, or he goes on back-to-back touchdown drives, which is just bizarre. How do you injure your finger and get better? Russell Wilson injured his finger and couldn't even go. I mean, it was just truly bizarre what we saw last night, folks. So the running game for the Rams was fantastic, and then let's see who Matthew Stafford and Matthew was throwing to. We get Robert Woods, 12 receptions, 150 yards, and that's what we want to see. I think Cooper Kupp has been the leading receiver here for the last 4 games here for the Rams, but getting their other weapons involved. We know Robert Woods is a solid, real great tier 2 weapon, if not a tier 1. So now that he's spreading the ball around because there's great talent here. So Robert Woods, leading receiver. Cooper Kupp still got his 7 receptions for 92 yards. Fantastic. Deshaun Jackson, 1 reception for 68 yards. Big time play. We're going to queue up that play in a second as well. And then Darrell Henderson out of the backfield, 1 reception, 17 yards. Von Jefferson, 1 reception, 16 yards. Tyler Higbee, 2 receptions, 14 yards, and a touchdown. Going to the tight ends in the red zone, folks. You got to love it. That's how kind of Matthew Stafford opened up scoring here in the second half, going to Tyler Higbee for 13 yards. Big, tall, 6'6" tight end in the red zone. You got to, get him the ball. And we saw Matthew Stafford try to get Tyler Higbee the ball in the red zone last week against the Cardinals and overthrow it, but he puts it right on the money this week, and it goes for the touchdown. So truly utilizing all of his weapons. Absolutely fantastic. All right, defensively here for the Rams, obviously, making it uncomfortable for Russell Wilson. Aaron Donald always in this man's face. He's only had 1 sack, but, I think he got a little credit for knocking Russell Wilson out of the game and just pressuring, just keeping the pressure on Russell Wilson the entire game because they got out to a slow start offensively as well. First drive, 4 plays, 32 yards, have to punt, and then they go for it on 4th and 1. They go for it on 4th and 2 at the Rams 29-yard line. We're going to watch that play as well. Well, let's just watch it now since we're talking about it. I mean, They go for it on 4th and 2, folks. And did y'all see what they did with the play calling? They run it right up the middle. Here we go. So this is the 3rd and 2 play leading up to the 4th and 2 play. Russell Wilson in the shotgun. They hand the ball off. It gets no yards. And then on 4th and 2, the offensive coordinator here, Shane Waldron, calls a running play on 4th and 2 when you have Russell Wilson. At least do kind of a bootleg, get everything flowing so you get the option of Russell Wilson throwing the ball or him keeping it himself, because we know Russell Wilson's a great dual threat quarterback. But what do? You hand off the ball on 4th and 2, and why not take the field goal here? I know hindsight's 2020, but I was saying this watching it live, folks. I know we weren't live and I have to do this, the day after, but watching it live, I'm like, you're at home, it's 0-0 game, you have a chance to put up points, it's 4th and 2, it's not like it's 4th and 1. I think I kicked the field goal right here, but I don't hate the decision to go for it on 4th and 2. I just wouldn't at this time. But and if I did go for it on 4th and 2, I'm not trusting anybody else besides Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So I'm definitely going to be like passing the ball and then leaving an option for Russell Wilson to go and run for those 2 yards himself. I'm not handing off the ball to not my number 1 running back, Chris Carson, because remember, he didn't go last night either. So what is Shane Waldron doing out here, folks? Lackluster offense for the Seahawks team this entire year, folks. Not putting together a full 4 quarters of good offensive football together. 2 weeks ago, they were good in the first half, bad in the second half. Last week, they were bad in the first half, good in the second half. This week, they weren't really good. They weren't really good at all this game, offensively. So the questionable decision here to go for it on 4th and 2, and just watch what happens. Russell Wilson under center hands off the ball, and he hits. We have to watch this play in the replay because we're going to get a better overhead look. So the running back right here, he doesn't go to the wide open hole. It runs into everybody else and gets no yardage. So you're trusting your second running back out here and not Russell Wilson? If I was Russell Wilson, I would take that as disrespect. Absolutely. Give me the ball. I'll do it. Shit, I'll do it. I mean, I'm not going to rely on who was their running back last night. I'm not going to rely on Alex Collins to pick up these 2 yards. No disrespect to Alex Collins, but you're not our starting guy. We're not trusting you. And here it is. This is a great shot right here, overhead angle, and they got to it quick. Shout out to the Fox cameraman. They know how to work a game. I'll tell you, folks. But here we go. 4th and 2, under center here by Russell Wilson, and it's got blocking. It does have blocking. I'm not going to lie. This is a good setup right here that really probably should have picked up the 2 yards here for the first down. But here we go. I mean, look at this hole right here. The blocking is fantastic. This is where it's supposed to go right here. This hole is big as heck. You got the tight end crashing down and taking out this linebacker. So he sees it, but then he goes back inside. Why are you not going in this hole right here? You don't go. You can drive a truck through this hole and pick up the 2 yards, but he bounces it back inside. So you're trusting. This is what the second running backs do. They're not confident. They don't see the holes all the time. That's why they're not the number 1 running back. So, man, oh man, you don't trust your main guy. Your second string running back doesn't hit the hole. And yeah, he may have kind of hit this linebacker, probably would have met him if he did go through this hole. There's like 1 defender to beat, but I'm going to trust my running back in open space to make the defender miss. That's kind of the running back's job right there. As long as everything's blocked and you can get a man one-on-one and make a miss because he's about like 5 yards off of you, you can't make a miss or just run right through him to pick up the 2 yards. You're going to literally probably meet him right at that kind of first down marker. And if you just kind of get an inch, edge him out an inch, that's a first down. So he just didn't hit the hole right there. It's absolutely absurd that he missed it. So that's what you get for not trusting Russell Wilson on 4th and 2, and they get no points out of it. Luckily for just the Seahawks offense in general, this was in the first half right here, the turnover on downs in the first quarter, and then after they kind of get stopped, Rams take the field, and that's when they get the interception, and they were still able to get a 7-3 lead going into halftime, even though they didn't pick up these 3 points. And if you pick up these 3 points here, you kind of make it a little bit easier on Geno Smith a little bit. He's got the entire, he doesn't have to try and, move the ball down the field to go to Tyler Lockett. We all know how the game ended. Tyler Lockett falls down, Geno Smith trying to throw to him, and interception, unfortunately. But you wouldn't have kind of it would have been 23-20, and Geno Smith has how much time? 2 minutes, 9 seconds to drive down the field and get a field goal or a touchdown to win the game. He's not really trying to look to throw the ball deep down the field because you kind of need a touchdown with 2 minutes left to win the game. So just more pressure on there. You got to take the points when you can get them, especially at home, especially to kind of get out scoring and put the pressure on the Rams. And so I just thought that was a real bad call overall, and that's kind of the knock here on the Seahawks team overall. They're just not what they are offensively. This is not the same, Russell Wilson that we have been knowing and what the Seahawks team has been doing over the last 8 seasons. So just unfortunate. Shane Waldron is not looking like the guy, and now the Seahawks team is 2-3, last in this tough-ass division here, and not looking like it's going to get any better because now Russell Wilson a little bit in jeopardy, and you're not going to win games with Geno Smith. And that's no disrespect to Geno Smith, but he's a good backup. He made the game entertaining, and, the interception, a little black mark on his record here in last night's game that really shouldn't have been. It's a solid performance by him, but are we going to trust Geno Smith to work in this division with Matthew Stafford and Kyler Murray, Jimmy Garoppolo? I may say Geno Smith is a little bit better than Trey Lance, but I don't know about Jimmy G. So, not great here, not a great start. And is this going to start to be the downfall? We heard, Russell Wilson, say, hey, if I do get traded, I want to go here, here, and here. He didn't name the names he wanted to go to, and now he's not getting protected here, and that was the issue in the offseason. Hey, can y'all protect me? And he got sacked a couple of times. Aaron Donald, always, a force in the backfield. He gets injured because Aaron Donald is so much pressure in his face that Russell Wilson kind of hits his, as he's throwing, hits his fingers on Aaron Donald's, I don't know if it was his helmet or his own, Aaron Donald's hand or whatever it is, but he hits his hand on Aaron Donald because Aaron Donald is driving back that Seahawks offensive line. So we could start to get, Russell Wilson maybe speaking out a little bit more out here. This problem can boil over. They're 2-3 last in the division, folks. So, and he may be out. We're not really sure the timetable quite yet. This is what we know about Russell Wilson. Earlier today, Ian Rappaport tweets out at 10:34 this morning, quarterback Russell Wilson will have an MRI on his finger today and then seek a consultation with hand specialist Dr. Stephen Shin of Kurlan Joby in LA. Hopefully he's good. The initial belief is he has mallet finger, essentially a sprained joint that makes it hard to flex a finger. Sprained joint, hard to flex a finger. And, we saw Russell Wilson kind of on the sideline after the injury, trying to grip that ball and seeing what he could do, and he just couldn't go back out there on the field. So, unfortunate there by Russell Wilson, and hopefully it's not a too long out here. All right. So, Russell Wilson getting banged up, getting knocked around, and the offensive coordinator just not doing the best job out here. All right, let's finish up this Rams defense, and then we'll head over to the Seahawks offense quickly. So like we said, Sam Darnold, the 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses, always a disruptor in the backfield. Who else had sacks last night? We had Terrell Lewis, a sack and a tackle for loss, so only accredited for 2 sacks, but if you were watching that game, always pressure on Russell Wilson. Truly unfortunate. All right, now let's talk about the Seahawks and what they were doing. Russell Wilson goes 11 of 16, only 16 passes, and he played basically the entire game besides the entire fourth quarter. So, 16 passes through 3 quarters, a little light there. Once again, just this Seahawks offense just could not get anything going here. And, why rush the ball this much without your number 1 running back? Why limit to Russell Wilson to only 16 passes? Alex Collins had 15 rushes. We're splitting we're balanced balancing this offense without your number one running back, it's not making that much sense to us. It's not like Alex Collins was being beast mode and, looking so spectacular that you had to keep running the ball. He averaged 3 yards a carry. That's a little worse than average. You're looking about 3.3 yards a carry average throughout an entire game. That's average in the NFL. 3 yards, that's under 3.3, so that's below average. So, keeping, I understand keeping with the running game. We preach it all the time, balanced run and attack game. But, when you don't have your full complement of running backs, yeah, I would rely on Russell Wilson. I don't understand why we're not relying on Russell Wilson. Who did we just see throw the ball 50-something times? Mac Jones, 2 weeks ago, threw the ball 50-plus times. And you're not going to let Russell Wilson throw the ball 50-plus times? What are we doing out here? You got the wrong quarterbacks throwing the ball 50-plus times. The only quarterbacks I want throwing the ball 50-plus times in a game is Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. Lamar, oh no, I don't want Lamar Jackson throwing the ball 50 times a game. Patrick Mahomes, obviously. It's an elite group. I don't want Baker Mayfield doing that. I don't want Matt Ryan doing that. I don't want Baker Mayfield doing that at all. I definitely don't want any rookie quarterback doing that. So the fact that you don't let Russell Wilson kind of take over this game and let him do what he knows, what we all know he can do, it's a little, I think it's going to kind of rub Russell Wilson the wrong way. But we'll see, what he says here this week, what comes out in the media, if anything. We know Russell Wilson doesn't really like to kind of, cause a commotion in the locker room with the organization. Seems like a great guy, just wants to really just play and win for the team. Seems like a great leader. Leaders really don't make big noises during the season or really just in general. So we'll really see what Russell Wilson's going to do out here. And we know what happened the last time he outspoke against the Seattle team, about the offensive line issues and all that in this offseason. The media ran with that story and made it a story. I mean, that really came out kind of at the start of the offseason, and they kept that going really for 2 to 3 months, folks, really. So we'll see what Russell Wilson, I think he's learned that he can't really say this stuff in the media, but, when you get fed up, you start to not care, and we'll see if Russell Wilson is going to start to kind of look for an exit strategy here in Seattle. I don't think he should, but if he does, I can't disagree with it. I mean, I'm watching this game. The man's getting destroyed there. All right, so Russell Wilson goes 11 of 16, folks. 11 of 16, 16 passes. What are we doing? 11 of 16. 68% completion percentage, 152 yards. All that is really good. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Interception really wasn't on him. He tried to fit the ball in a tight spot. That was his only downfall. But it was a great great stick by Jalen Ramsey to kind of pop the ball up. So interception's really not on Russell Wilson. Geno Smith goes 10 of 17. I mean, they had the same amount of passes for Geno Smith, who played 1 quarter, than Russell Wilson, who played 3 quarters. And granted, Geno Smith, when he got into the game in the 4th quarter, what was the score going into the 4th quarter? We were at 16-7. So they were only down, 2 scores, not only down 2 scores, I should say. But yeah, they were down 2 scores, 2 possessions here. So you do have to kind of pick up the tempo a little bit. I get it, but still, folks, where was that early tempo in the beginning? Home field advantage, your lime green jerseys that are absolutely beautiful. We don't want to see these every week, but when we see these, a couple times a year, these are great jerseys right here. So looking good, feeling good, playing good, home stadium, Thursday night football, division rival, one of the best teams in the league, and you come out flat-footed offensively. It's like, man. So, Geno Smith goes 10 of 17. Let's get that completion percentage up. 10 of 17. 58%, that's not the greatest out there, but he was making some throws. He threw a touchdown. You got to give him credit to that, and also credit DK Metcalf for, it wasn't he got on that touchdown pass. Geno Smith got a little bailed out by the rookie cornerback that kind of misplayed the ball, but give credit to DK Metcalf for kind of making the defender kind of misplay the ball. So Geno Smith, 10 of 17, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Once again, his interception wasn't his fault either. Tyler Lockett falls to the ground, unfortunately. And, you know, when you're throwing to a receiver that fell to the ground, it's usually going to get picked off. So unfortunate there for Geno Smith. So 2 interceptions by the Seahawks that really weren't the quarterback's fault, unfortunately. All right, and then in the running game, Alex Collins filling in for Chris Carson, 15 carries for 47 yards. Just kind of, you know, mediocre. Nothing great out there. Gino Smith took off 3 times for 23 yards. Once again, Geno Smith looking good for a backup. Maybe one of the best backups in the league. Definitely better than Jacoby Brissett for the Dolphins. I mean, I'd take Geno Smith in a heartbeat over Jacoby Brissett. Jeez. So, you know, some good glimpses there. Definitely, I think, has earned to be a backup. So, you know, if Seattle keeps him as a backup, you know, this is a performance that he could definitely tie that to be like, hey, I was serviceable out there. I almost let us back. You know, don't let this interception fool you. I was moving the ball. So well done to Geno Smith. And we'll see if he gets a start for a week or two while Russell Wilson recovers. We'll see. All right, let's see who Russell Wilson and Geno Smith were throwing the ball to. We get DK Metcalf. Glad that this man's back out on top. He had 2 scores this game. Glad to see this man back out working great. You know, great. I mean, when you just look at what this man does at the receiver position, geez Louise. But yeah, DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 5 targets as well. Caught every ball coming his way. Very well done. Tyler Lockett, 5 receptions for 57 yards. He was targeted 10 times, and, you know, usually we don't get that. You know, Tyler Lockett's usually always kind of surefire hands here. You know, him and Russell Wilson always having that huge, great pinpoint connection down the field, but they just couldn't take off this game. So unfortunate. Then we get DJ Dallas, 2 receptions for 32 yards. Will Dissly, their tight end, 2 receptions for 29 yards. Alex Collins back out of the backfield, 2 receptions for 25 yards as well. So trying to spread around the wealth, but unfortunately didn't result really into great offense. All right, so yeah, Rams win 26-17. There are a couple of plays I want to just go over very quickly here, and then we'll wrap it up here and get into our picks for the rest of the week. We didn't start off so hard this week. We did take the Seahawks +2. Unfortunate. They lose by 9. Unfortunate. So we haven't been good on these Thursday night games, folks. I don't think we've hit a single pick these Thursday night games. Unfortunate. But we're ready to get back on track for Sundays. You know, we don't play around on Sundays. We got a great hit percentage for our Sundays picks. It's just these Thursday games. Y'all know they're wonky. We say it all the time. This game was truly wonky. All the missed kind of kicks early on. The double punt, how crazy was that? And then, you know, both quarterbacks getting their fingers busted. It's like, it's a little wonky game out here. All right. What else plays we got? All right. We get this play right here. No, we got to go back one play. We got to go to this play. No, we already went to that play. All right, let's go to this play. Here we go. In this play, we have to kind of come back to this, and so hopefully we do remember, but we have to wait for the all-22 to get a full sense of this play. But this was early on Statthew Mafford. This is not Matthew Stafford currently, but we get 1st and 10 right here, and this was on the interception drive, but this was before the interception. So Matthew Stafford, play action pass, and then we get a pump fake right here, and then he pulls it down, and the pressure wasn't there quite yet, and unfortunately we don't have the all-22 to see where these downfield receivers were, because there was 2 receivers going out for routes down the field that are out of our view here for the broadcast. So we'll have to wait, you know, a couple days for the all-22 to get on. But I want to revisit this play. Why did Matthew Stafford not throw this ball? Did he not trust himself, or was there just nothing open? So we'll have to come back to this one. It ends up he ends up taking a sack on this play. So it was just something I was watching last night, and I really wanted to see more of. But the highlights and the replays that they were showing, we just couldn't see where those receivers were. So I want to come back to this play when the all-22 is back up to see if Matthew Stafford should have let this ball fly, or if it was a good decision to just tuck it and take the sack. So we'll have to come back to this one a little bit later, so y'all remind me. Hopefully we remind ourselves. And then let's go to this next play up here. What do we got here? Oh, yeah, this is, all right, so this is where Tyler Lockett, and we just got to watch Tyler Lockett here, because this is the pass interference call. Clear as day. Definitely was pass interference. Great ball here, and this is what we're talking about with the Tyler Lockett-Russell Wilson connection. It's so fantastic. Russell Wilson, we can count the yards on this ball. He's going to launch this one from his own 25-yard line and get it all the way down to Man, the 20. Woo, that's fantastic. So we got 25 plus 30, 55 yards clean as heck. And Tyler Lockett had a nice step on this defender, so he brings them down. But watch the replay right here. And this is why we have to respect Tyler Lockett as a true great wide receiver, A1, tier 1 option. I don't think there's any debate on that, but if there is any debate, watch this replay right here because the cameraman does excellent work. So here we go. We get the replay. When are they going to show it? When do they show it? Should be coming up right next here. Right up next here. Here we go. So here we go. So Tyler Lockett obviously gets brought down, but watch this man's eyes look at this ball. Look this ball in the entire way, even while getting pass interfered with. So here we go. He sees it open. He knows he's going to go get this ball. Look at those eyes, so fixated on that ball coming down. And then we have the big defensive arm coming over the top, hitting him in the face mask. No flinch, no blink. This man didn't even blink. Watch, look at it. His eyes are still open, looking in this ball. Look at that. Not even flinching. Truly looking in this ball the entire way, folks. I was so stunned watching this, folks. This is why, this was one of the notes here why we had to bring up this play, but just watch this, the pure concentration that this man had. Obviously no pass interference. He's going to catch this ball and probably get a touchdown here. But man, oh man, so impressive. Not blinking, not flinching as he's getting hit, as he's getting pass interfered with, and he was like inches close of catching the ball while on the ground because he basically got tackled out there. But Tyler Lockett, man, if y'all aren't respecting him, I don't know what more I can show y'all. This man is a true A1 tier 1 wide receiver out there. Absolutely loved it. And then what do we got? We got one more play up. We got to look at, what is this? What is this? We get Matthew Stafford here. All right, let's see what this play is. Okay, this is the play to Deshaun Jackson, deep ball right here. I want to count the yards here, and, Matthew Stafford kind of got away with one a little bit here because Jamal Adams was trash here. It's not the best season for Jamal Adams defensively, folks. He may have gotten exposed, and the Seahawks may have made a real bad signing here, signing him to that massive deal. This man can't play coverage. We know he's a safety, but, he's always kind of around the middle of the field because he's kind of more of a linebacker. He's got no great coverage skills, and he's kind of getting exposed this season, and that's definitely not great because now you're hurting the offense because you have less money and all that. Yeah, Matthew Stafford flings this ball down the field to Deshaun Jackson. We know Deshaun Jackson's great speed, but it is underthrown. Deshaun Jackson very well done to adjusting to this ball, but once again, just trash coverage there by Jamal Adams. But let's count the yards here on Matthew Stafford. Once again, we're just trying to get a nice gauge on him. Is this cause for concern for, the incompletions and the inaccuracies and the red zone failures, all that. So let's count the yards thrown here on the deep ball. So he's throwing it from his own 10-yard line, and he gets it down to the 40, so, about 50 yards. And, we really want to kind of see 55 yards, so a little underthrown at 50. Not the best right there, but we're trying not to get too down on this Rams team, but still something to keep in our minds as we're evaluating this Rams team. This is why we do the show every single day, folks, why we break down every single game. We keep tabs as the season, as these weeks progress, and see, are we seeing the same things? We just saw Baker Mayfield flounder 2 whole games in a row, and we just saw Matthew Stafford flounder a game and a half in a row. So we'll see if they can kind of clean it up as the season progresses. So just a little underthrown there by Deshaun Jackson. And then the last play right here, one of the best shots here. That once again, I'm telling you, give credit to Fox for these Thursday night football games. These camera works, man. They get everything, folks. Here we go. Because the Seahawks, they have like a hawk that flies around in the game. I think they do it in just the beginning of the game. They let the hawk go and he flies around the stadium. And I think he's supposed to come back to his trainer on the arm. But they had this hawk land on this dude's head. I landed on this dude's head, man. In the crowd. Just a fan here watching the game in this hawk. It just landed on this dude's head, folks. He's playing it off well. He's kind of smiling about it. But I'm sure that hurts. These are talons, folks. He's digging into this dude's head. He looks a little scared here, and I would be scared too if there's a freaking apex predator on my head, man. So I don't know what this hawk is going to do. I don't know if he's mad. I'm sure his life is, unfortunately, not the best. He's in captivity a little bit. He's kind of a mascot, and animals don't like to kind of be tied down like that. So I don't know what this hawk's going to do on my head, if he's going to peck me to death, if he's so fed up with this Seahawks team. He's like, man, I'm just going to take it out in the crowd. Oh, there's a Seahawks fan right here in the bright green. Oh, a bright green. I'm going in for the kill. So great camera work to pick this up. But yeah, what do you do? What the heck do you do? Look how intimidating this hawk is looking at the end. It's like, yeah, who's going to grab me? Who going to get me off this dude's head? Huh? I dare somebody to try to grab me off this dude's head. I'm about to bring this man back to my nest, dude. So I don't know what happened to this hawk, and I don't know what happened to this man. So if this man is coming up missing, the hawk has him, and he belongs to the hawk now. So yeah, that was Thursday Night Football last night, folks. Matthew Stafford cleaning up in the second half. We'll see how long Russell Wilson's going to be out, but a good, entertaining game. And this is, this is not like we're supposed to be, we should not be selling the Seahawks after this loss. It's just unfortunate, folks. These last 2 weeks of all these kind of division matchups here in the NFC West, it's the best division in football. Top down, roster, coaches, quarterbacks, everything about those four teams. The 49ers, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals are all so freaking good. So when the Rams face the Cardinals, we'll take the winner. We'll definitely weigh that a little bit, but we're not going to fade the loser 100% because great teams going against great teams, there's got to be one loser, and we're not going to call them trash after that. Same thing here with Rams, Seahawks, two great games, two great teams. We do need to see the Seahawks offense step it up a little bit, but I don't think there's any truly big cause for concerns here thus far in the season. But like we said, we do the show here every single day. We break everything down every single week. We'll tell y'all when y'all should be worrying about these teams, but we'll see if the Seahawks can bounce back a little bit, and hopefully Russell Wilson is not missing any time. But Rams get the 26-17 win.